Well, hello there, people. Hello, hello. Okay, hopefully my volume is better today. I um I think I was messing around. I did some stuff. It sounded a little chef's kiss. So today I am. Let's see here. Let me get the this one here. So today, I just want to, of course, wonder at some things that I saw, and you know, go from there. Um, okay, let's put this back on. So I wanted to show you guys. I wanted to do some live reaction. So this is gonna be one of the first times we're gonna. Not the first. Well, I did it once before, but I don't too much care how the sound came out for either one of those. But you know, this is a learning experience. So y'all just gonna have to work with me.
Wait a minute.
That's right. You're gonna have to wait a minute and work with me, okay? So I wanted to, like I said with my broadcast, I want to just go over like different stuff that's going on around the world because I am around the world type girl. Yeah, that's right. So with that being said, I wanted to take a look at some of the political things that are going on. Now, don't get me wrong, I am not about to go into this long dialogue about um, things that are going on overseas. However, I do want to make mention that we should be paying attention to these things because you never know when it comes over this way. So I am doing something on my phone. So that's kind of what my problem is right now. So okay. So I am in this, and so I want to first share this video with you guys. So please take a look at this, and this is what is going on over in France right now.
Sébastien Lecornu has been sworn in as France's new Prime Minister. These are the pictures of Mr. Lecornu at the official handover ceremony with his predecessor François Bayrou, who resigned yesterday on Tuesday against government policies. Demonstrators say they're angry at leadership in France and austerity policies. Well, let's go straight to Paris and join my colleague Mark. Mark Lowen, who's been following developments there. Mark, just bring us up to date on what's been happening where you are.
My bad, y'all. I'm sorry about the audio. I'm hearing the audio and I'm trying to fix it at the same time. So my apologies. My apologies.
Yeah, Regina, we were outside the Gare du Nord, the station which connects France with other neighbours next door this morning, and that's where there was tear gas used as about 1,000 protesters tried to get inside the railway station. Now the protest movement has moved here to the centre of Paris, to Place du Châtelet. It is part of a day of civil disobedience and social unrest under the banner Bloquons tout, let's block everything. We've seen high schools and highways and some roads and bridges and train stations blocked in different cities across the country. Almost 300 arrests made by police. People extremely angry at what they see as social and economic inequality, but also that anger fueled by the appointment of Sébastien Lecornu as Prime Minister announced last night, and he's now taken office. He is from President Macron's centrist camp, That despite the fact that the left wing came first in elections 14 months ago, and the left says it is time for them to govern. They're extremely angry at President Macron. They want him to resign. Let's bring in a couple of protesters who are here with me in the centre of Paris. Marion and Jacques, thanks for joining us, both of you. Just explain why you're here today.
Today we're here because French people do not agree with budget, that is the provisional budget for 2006.
You don't agree with the budget cuts that the government is trying to put through, the austerity measures, the cuts?
That is where we think we can do a better budget that is really good for people.
But Jacques, France's budget deficit is almost double the limit imposed by the European Union. It is spending more on interest payments on its debt than it does on education and defence. So isn't it time for France to tighten its belt and live within its means?
I don't think it back because you have a state's debt, but the state's debt is already paid each year by the. I don't know how to say it in English, but now we borrow to the bank, so we only pay the interest of the bank. And you talk about European Union regulations. It's something we can change, and we can also imagine other ways to reduce the deficit by creating more taxes for the high revenue, for reducing the help to the companies without any proof of efficiency on the economy. We have 200 billions of aids given to the company without any proof.
What do you want to change in France? What is the priority for you?
A lot of things. In fact, we are here for the budgets, but it's a long situation. It's now for many years, like 10 or 15 years, we are all doing the same policy. We want less austerity, more public power. But just to give you a concrete example, in our institute, we work in the National Cartographic Institute. We have all this discourse about empowering the institute to face global warming consequences, etc. And we are facing a reduction of 30% of our personnel during the next 5 years. So.
What do you think of the new Prime Minister, the fact that the President has chosen a centrist, one of his own group, as his 7th Prime Minister now?
It's just continuity. It proves that things won't change with this president. I don't really personally know the new Prime Minister, but it's not a problem of person. It's really a problem of project.
But Jacques, isn't it time for a stability? I mean, the party that many of you support, that France Unbowed, says that it will vote down whichever government comes in, which is not part of the left. I mean, France could be here time and time again with governments falling at a time.
How long do you guys think that the government will allow these people, and I don't mean that in a derogatory way, but how long do you think the government will allow these protesters to protest before they actually listen to what they're saying and take heed that it is not wise to continue to drain your middle and poor class while continuously providing benefits and cuts and aid to billionaires, people on the top end?
Time when France is very unstable and the world needs a stable France.
But you're right, stability is important to me. For me, for myself, I would prefer to stay on my sofa instead of working here. But stability will not come with voting the next austerity budget of Macron. We need Macron to have stability. In fact, he's the origin of the most instability in the country right now. And you say, I just had something about our new Prime Minister.
Isn't it something that these presidents are bankrupting the countries that they're over? Are you guys noticing this? It seems like someone has on somebody. They got something. I do believe that it's some fact behind these so-called tapes of people in very compromising positions. But I digress.
You described as a centrist. We can argue about that. In fact, we have proof from a newspaper, Mediapart, that is doing a private dinner with the far-right leaders. So.
And are you calling for Macron to resign, Marion?
Sure, we do for a long time now.
Did you guys just hear that? That the leaders of the left are having dinner and they are being photographed with leaders of the far right.
But it won't be enough. We all French citizens and workers have to show that we don't want anymore all these years of politics.
Marion and Jacques, thanks very much indeed. President Macron says, of course, that he will see out the rest of his term until 2027. He says that there is no way for him to resign and that he will stay in place. But the overwhelming majority of the French people now place the blame very much for France's polarization, its political paralysis, and its rising social discontent very much at his door. We'll continue to watch.
So yeah, so France is yeah, they over there. They going through it right now, and just right, because at the end of the day, you got to stand for something, or you just gonna fall for anything. So leave a comment. Tell me what you think about that. Like, do you think it's gonna happen in America? I mean, we already have these uprisings, but are we gonna get to the point where it's really gonna be? Matter of fact, I don't even want to say it. I just want to show it to you. So, over there in Nepal, they are protesting because you have these kids that get on these TikToks and these Instagrams, and they're flaunting all the money that their moms and dads are making through being, in these governments and political parties and things of that nature. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the people don't like it. Let me go ahead on and pull this up for y'all so y'all can take a look at this.
We turn now to the political chaos that has overwhelmed the country of Nepal. The government is deploying troops to gain control after days of protests led to nearly 24 deaths and the resignation of the country's embattled prime minister. Charlotte Scarr from our global news partner, the BBC, reports from Kathmandu.
Celebrations by the Gen Z protesters. The government had finally listened, but violence still continued into the night. Angry protesters stormed into Parliament, waving flags and shouting slogans against the Prime Minister who had just stood down. Government buildings across the capital set on fire as police struggled to hold the crowds. What started as defiance of a curfew turned into full-blown political chaos.
This frustration has been building for over 2 decades, fueled by corruption. Every one of us has had enough. These thugs have troubled us time and time again, and what you see now is just a spark ignited by social media.
A ban on social media platforms has sparked the unrest. An attack on free speech, the protesters said. But it was the long-felt anger against corruption that fueled the fire. Government corruption and the lavish lifestyles of the elite, whilst unemployment remains high. Protesters clashed with authorities who attempted to push the crowd of hundreds back. The protests have not come without significant losses. So far, over 20 protesters have been killed, with many hundreds more left injured. Tonight, the army has said that it will intervene if the protesters don't stop. Nepal's parliament remains alight, a building that has seen 14 governments in the past 17 years. And for now, the country is left with no clarity on what comes next. Charlotte Scarr, BBC News, Kathmandu.
Okay, so do you guys think that, it starts one place, and it starts one place, and then it becomes a hot topic. And they, with them trying to ban social media in certain areas because they want to keep the status quo, and social media just being something that you just cannot stop. Information is going to get out there, so you either need to get with it or get left behind. So I don't really have any sympathy for these particular governments entities that have protests, or they're being looted or rioted or whatever the case may be. Because if you have people who are working 3-4 jobs and they are barely making it, and your child has the audacity to be online flaunting Chanel's and Gucci's and Versace and red bottoms and all kinds of stuff, Van Cleef this and Van Cleef that, and you're 20 and you're not working. And my child has been working since they were 6, and they barely have, a week's worth of good clothes to wear. And we know the difference between good clothes, okay clothes, and, them clothes. I'm sorry. There is no sympathy. So it is what it is. And speaking of no sympathy, I don't feel that violence is the answer. I understand that violence is necessary at times, but I do not believe that violence is the answer. It's just like, I feel like a person is smart, but people can be foolish. So with that being said, take a look at this. And
let's return to that breaking news this hour that the Conservative commentator Charlie Kirk has been shot at an event at a university in Utah, the Utah Valley University. That's according to an NBC News reporter on social media. The spokesperson at the university told NBC News that Kirk was giving a presentation when shots were fired and said that, to the best of our knowledge, he was hit and taken with his security team away from the premises. Now, President Trump has posted about this. This is because Charlie Kirk is a big influencer with young MAGA, has advised the president on how to reach those younger voters and spoken at some of his rallies. So President Trump posting, "We must all pray for Charlie Kirk, who has been shot." He wrote, "A great guy from top to bottom. God bless him." And this from our BBC correspondent Bernd de Busman. As news of the shooting broke, Bernd says he was in the upper press area of the White House where senior officials such as the press secretary Caroline Leavitt have their offices. He says, "I first learned that the shooting had taken place when a young female staffer gasped and exclaimed, 'Oh my God, Charlie Kirk has been shot,' as I stood outside the office of a senior White House official." It brought more gasps from other nearby White House staff. Now, the staffer got up from her desk, Bernd de Busman reports, still looking at her phone, and then quickly walked out of the area. So that's the sort of reaction this news brought from that White House team, giving you a sense of how important, how well known Charlie Kirk is to them. Let's return to that break.
Well, I don't know, man. You preach hate or you push hate, and things like that happen. I'm not saying that, I'm not gonna say that I'm gonna be clutching my pearls.
Clutch the pearls. What a sneaky thing to do.
But it's not something that I would I will want to happen to anyone. So I know, I guess thoughts and I don't know. So anyway, over in Africa, while the rest of the world is tearing itself down in one way or another to rebuild into something hopefully better, which I don't know, maybe they're taking a book from the revolution that's going on over in some parts of Africa. So I saw that they have, we'll just take a look at this and tell me what you think.
And Rwanda has carried out the public flight of a self-flying electric car taxi in the country, the first of its kind in the African continent. Well, the successful demonstration took place during the Aviation Africa 2025 summit in Kigali, the capital of Rwanda. Rwanda now joins other countries that are also test-driving electric self-flying air taxis, including China, Germany, the Dominican Republic, Israel, and the United States. Rwanda employed the EHang EH216S aircraft, which is described as a sleek.
Let me just say this. I'm not getting in nothing in America that's flying, especially a taxi at this time. They can't even get the planes to stay up. And you know how long that's been going? They've been flying planes. And we having all these issues. You could keep it.
Futuristic drone with 16 propellers and 2 passenger capacity. In this demonstration, the taxi drone climbed to an altitude of around 100 meters, completing its pre-programmed route before making a vertical landing. The demonstration of this new technology was jointly undertaken by Rwandan and Chinese firms, and according to a statement by the Rwandan Ministry of Infrastructure, the initiative solidifies the East African nation's position as Africa's hub for testing and implementing cutting-edge aviation technology. With Rwanda's test flight emerging as a major milestone for Africa, the country still needs to develop regulatory frameworks to govern its operations. A full commercial service in Rwanda will still have to wait some more.
I wonder how much that's gonna cost. Like I think like you might be able to get an Uber for maybe $20. But like what we paying? So like you on the south side of Houston and you want to catch an air taxi to maybe the north side. So like Conroe. So like what that's gonna run you like $1,000, $2,000, and like are we flexing? Like is that like first date type stuff? Or like you meet her and you like, oh, you over there on the southwest side? All right, well I'm gonna get you a air taxi, and then like how I'm gonna get home? Oh, I'm gonna fly you back out. But like I'm gonna need for you to pay for it before I leave, because what if things don't go right? Like I'm not about to be driving like no. Mm-mm. And then how much land? And then how much land do you need to have to actually be able to rent one? Like let's say okay, you picking up the chick from southwest side, right? And you flying her to your house. But what if you don't have enough air space? Like what if you don't have a backyard? Like what if you live in one of those areas where it's like townhouses all the way around? Like, do you got to drop the bitch off outside the gate and then, or meet her at the gate and let her in? I don't know. That's kind of it's kind of complicated. I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Okay, so anyway, so I like to watch Michelle ATLian over on her channel on YouTube, and I really enjoy watching her because she's funny, she's witty. I don't know. She just seems like she's a real cool person to hang around with, right? Like she seems like the perfect person to say, hey, call up on a Sunday, and you might not have talked to her in a couple of days or a couple of weeks or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Or y'all might speak every now and then, but just say, hey, you want to go and grab some drinks on a Sunday? And I'm talking about a low key place because she seemed like she can deal with the limelight, but she really like to take stuff like really low key, but on a high level type stuff. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like it's reservation, 10 to 20 people max, a live band. You get what I'm saying? But yeah, we had those types of spots in Houston. But anyway, where two people, y'all gonna spend about $500-$600 just on two people, and then y'all probably not even gonna eat dinner or anything. It's probably just gonna be drinks and atmosphere. So anyway, so I'm gonna be playing this commentary and stopping and going, and leave your comments.
Please, thank you. Like this video. Now, who is next on my agenda? Oh, Kandi. Okay, I'm gonna get to Kelly Price. She on here too, child. She on here too. Kandi says she is never forgiving Phaedra. Y'all be talking about I hold a grudge. Okay, y'all be talking about I hold a grudge and I should let it go. Should Kandi let it go? Okay, Kandi is holding a grudge, even though Kenya actually did the same thing that Phaedra did. She lied. She tried to shame somebody about their sexuality. Kandi is standing 10 toes down for Kenya while still having a grudge for Phaedra. Now let's listen to what she said. Y'all know the drill. Copyright disclaimer in Section 107 of the Copyright Act. Allowance is made for what? Fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. What are we doing?
We doing all of that, Michelle, and we researching.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are researching. I don't see nobody saying it. Are we researching? Okay, thank you, Jake. Finally, somebody got it. We are researching. Now let's listen.
Get to it.
Oh, shoot.
I know. No shade, no tea. You don't want to push too hard, but do you think there's any way that she could get you to look her way again? Has she ever tried to reach out?
Wait a minute. I didn't hear the beginning. Let me refresh.
Girl, you heard the beginning.
Yeah. I know. No shade, no tea. You don't want to push too hard, but do you think there's any way that she could get you to look her way again? Has she ever tried to reach out? No.
She talked about Phaedra. I thought Phaedra had apologized. I don't know, but if she did and Kandi didn't accept it, that's all right. Y'all know how I feel. I ain't got no apology either, okay?
Ever tried to reach out?
No.
Because she know. No, it's
Well, first of all, Kandi, she didn't reach out because you went from platform to platform telling people that she could never come back on the show. You literally blocked that lady bag for years off of the show. You said that Phaedra, if Phaedra came back, you would leave. And so now they want Phaedra and they let you go. And so now you're talking. Hold on, let's listen.
there's no reason for us to communicate. We've been in the same room before, but there's no reason for us. And you guys just, you kind of just avoid, or not even avoid, but just, we just don't interact. We just don't speak. I mean, not disrespectful. I don't come in cussing nobody out, and we just, you stay your way, I stay my way. I don't feel the need to fake it for the world in that situation. I feel.
Nobody told you to fake it. Who said fake it? We listen. What we want to see is some real. We want to see some reality. See what really would have got the views if Kandi and Phaedra.
Now that would be T if Kandi and Phaedra sat in and had a conversation. But see, Kandi not gonna want to do it because see, Kandi got too much outside of the show that depend on her. So she's not willing to jeopardize all that just to get on the show, and then her and Phaedra get into it, and then the audience don't really perceive it how she wants them to perceive it. Because you got to remember, perception and perceiving are two totally different things. Just because you say it one way, that doesn't mean I have to take it that way. I'm going to take it however I want to. Just like you're going to give it to me how you want to. So I would say go ahead on over to Miss Michelle, ATLN, and take a look, and go over to Michelle ATLN and take a look at the rest of her commentary. She is like really awesome to go and take a look at and listen to. So y'all need to go and take a listen to her because she's cool. Okay, so it was a hot mic going on. They done caught old Russian Putin and the Chinese president on a hot mic. So let's take a listen. Okay, so now if you didn't hear it, let me go back because they're speaking in Japan. So the Chinese president is saying in the past people, wait a minute, let me make sure I go all the way to the beginning. Okay, so the Chinese president is saying to Putin, in the past people rarely live longer than 70 years. And then Putin, hold on. And said, but today they say that at 70 you are still a child. And then Putin came back and said, well, human organs can be continuously transported or transplanted. The longer you live, the younger you become and even achieve immortality. And then the Chinese president responded and said, some predict that in this century, humans may live up to 150 years old. Now listen. Y'all better take heed to this. These people trying to figure out how they could live forever. They trying to stop birth rates in Africa and trying to live forever in other places. Child, I ain't got time for it. I ain't got the time for it. Speaking of gunshots, take a look at this and see what happened over there. I think this happened in Seattle.
Authorities arrested a 13-year-old boy who they say was infatuated with mass shootings and had access to guns and ammunition.
Now, all that don't make no sense. Fascinated with the massness of it all. Access to what and what? Let's listen. Let me just go back just a little bit, and then we're gonna go.
Boy who they say was infatuated with mass shootings and had access to guns and ammunition. Fox 13 Shira Matsuzawa tells us what investigators found inside his home and why the Pierce County Sheriff's Office calls it disturbing.
The parents need to go right with them. Lock them all up. Lock them all up.
Gun after gun after gun. These are just some of the weapons the public information officer with the Pierce County Sheriff's Office, Carly Capetto, says were found inside of the home of the 13-year-old arrested over the weekend.
Several firearms were just around the home, hanging on the walls. It was very clear there was some negligence in terms of gun ownership.
She says approximately 30 to 40 guns were seized, along with boxes and boxes of ammunition. But that's not all.
Tons of evidence that was found from the bedroom in terms of inscriptions and writings and things that would indicate he had targets and obsession with previous mass shooters that we've had in our history.
Authorities took the boy into custody early Saturday morning after receiving information about disturbing posts made on social media.
There was evidence that showed
who raising these kids. Like, I think the parents need to be brought out. I'm talking about, what did you do as this child was being brought up? Did you not read to him? Did you not hug him? Did you not talk to him? Did you talk to him? What did y'all talk about? Like, I think that parents of children who commit these heinous crimes need to be studied. And I know how they say there is no book for parenting. There needs to be a book for how not to parent. Like, it needs to be a study on these parents. They need to put all this information together, and then this need to go out. Parents, if nothing else, don't do this. Don't do this. Don't do that. Don't do this. Try to avoid that. You know, if your kid come to you with this, you know, address it. Don't, you know, I mean, it seems like we just need to find, it got to be a common denominator. At least one.
This subject was infatuated with mass shootings, had access to firearms.
As of Monday afternoon, the boy was here at Pierce County Juvenile Detention Center, facing several charges, including attempted threat to bomb or injure property, unlawful possession of a firearm in the second degree, and unlawful possession of fireworks. Capetto told Fox 13 it doesn't appear there was a specific school or event targeted, but says they're still going through evidence, and that includes electronic devices, so that could change. She adds the boy was not enrolled in any school district. His last known school district was Franklin Pierce. We reached out, and they confirmed the 13-year-old last attended one of their schools prior to 2021.
We have not had an individual.
So the boy ain't been to school since 2021. This is 2025. Okay? And where are the parents at? So I don't even want to play the guess what race it is game because, you know.
Will in our jurisdiction act out in a mass shooting way, and I would say it's partly because we take all these threats very seriously and we don't allow them to get to that point. And it's very clear that we disrupted something.
Shira Matsuzawa, Fox 13 News. As for the parents, we asked Capetto if the parents or guardians were cooperative. She told us they were mostly cooperative at the time the warrant was served, but detectives still need to interview them. It'll be up to the prosecutor's office if they face any charges in this case.
So you mean to tell me this child ain't been to school since 2021, and what I think COVID, I think they went back to school, in 2022? Y'all have to tell me because I don't have any children. So I don't know. When did they go back? 2022, 2023? Even if it was 2023, he hasn't been in school in at least 2 years because 2025, that just started. So the boy ain't been in school in 2 years. He's 13. He got access to guns and social media. So they just giving him a pistol. And from what I read, he was creating models with a 3D printer. So, you know what? Oh, I'm so glad I grew up when I did. I'm glad I got to experience the life that I did because I am the early end of the early stage of the 80s. So I got to experience the late 90s, early 2000s, baby. All of 2000, I was cutting up to the club. Cutting up! I'm talking about, I just stopped cutting up right before COVID, okay? COVID said, you know, focus on some other stuff. But I'm talking about some I'm talking about she works hard for the money. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, so you know what? Oh, I forgot all about this. Let me show y'all this other part of France. Why you think it was just over there? They still cutting up because this was another video I had captured.
Welcome back here on Live Now from Fox, and I did want to bring you this live image that we just have coming into our newsroom right here, where we're going to get more information, but this is all related to the protests that are there in France over the government, and as you can see, folks are wearing helmets and masks. A lot of those are reporters, but there's also a lot of protesters and demonstrators that are out there right now, trying to figure out what this is. It looks like it is a bar there. Can't quite see the name on the screen, but it does say happy hour, and as you can see, a portion of that bar or a building nearby
It ain't happy hour no more.
is up in flames at this point.
Now imagine if you owned an apartment, or you had your condo or whatnot above this, and now they done set your stuff on fire. You done had your thing on Airbnb getting your money because it's prime location. I'm right above a little cafe. I've been to France before, and it was absolutely terrifying with the driving. Let me tell you something. They do not, okay, certain parts, they don't have like roads. And we were driving in, and it just like the road just disappeared. I'm talking about just disappeared. And then it was just like, because they got a lot of those big circles, with a road circle. And they have them in America as well. But at the time, I didn't know about that, and my ex-husband, he didn't know about that either. So we had experienced them because they have a lot of those types of turns in Europe. However, when we got to France, it was just like, well, Paris, it was like, whoa. And we went to Orleans, and I recall when we went to New Orleans, and my ex was like, well, we're going to New Orleans. Where's the old Orleans? And I was like, well, what do you mean? He was like, didn't Katrina happen? Like, where's the old Orleans? And I was like, dude. So yeah. So yeah, I digress.
We are going to keep an eye on this situation and bring you all of the details, but here is what we know so far, as we know that protesters have blocked roads.
And he was serious too. Like, he was serious.
Blazes and were met with tear gas in Paris and elsewhere in France as there's heaping pressure on the president, Emmanuel Macron, and making the new prime minister's first day in office, some would say, a baptism of fire. The government's interior ministry announcing 250 arrests in the first hours of what was a planned day of nationwide demonstrations against Macron, budget cuts, and other complaints.
Now, mind you, Macron isn't set to be, well, there isn't set to be an election in 2027. So it comes to a point where you have to say, is it me or is it about what's best for the country? And if you're willing to allow the country to burn just so that you can prove a point that I'm not going to allow you guys to bully, because it's not even, it's really about what these people are showing you guys, and they're showing that it is a lot of corruption, and they are literally draining us dry, and we're losing jobs because of everything that's going on in Africa. So keep in mind that not only are these people protesting because they're cutting their social benefits, they're also losing jobs, and they're raising taxes, and they're cutting benefits. I mean, and they're cutting taxes on the rich, and they're raising taxes on the poor. So everything that France is a small America in a sense. So just keep this in mind, that everything that they're over there doing, that is it's similar to what's going on over here. And even though you're not seeing it on your local news, there are music fests going around in different parts of the country that they have to find different ways to speak about, because you can't say certain things because they are being monitored very heavily, because certain groups and demographics will prefer that the American people stay asleep as much as possible. And a lot of Americans will prefer to stay asleep until when they are woken up they just like, oh my God, I didn't realize, and then they have to just deal with it because some people would just prefer to be in the veil of ignorance versus taking it off.
Complaints there in general. The government's Interior Ministry announcing those arrests, and although falling short of its self-declared intention to quote-unquote block everything, the protest movement that started online over the summer caused widespread hotspots of disruption, defying an exceptional deployment of about 80,000 police who broke up barricades and made a lot of arrests. The Interior Minister said that a bus was set on fire in the western city there, and in the southwest, fire damage to electrical cables stopped train services on one line and disrupted traffic on another. That's according to government transport authorities. Again, you're looking at a live image here coming in out of France. As you can see, what appears to be a building set on fire. Dozens of police officers are there as the protesters remain on the scene here. And this is part of a day of nationwide protests, so sadly it's likely that we will see more buildings, vehicles, and things of that nature set on fire as the day continues. We'll keep you updated here on Live Now from Fox.
I'll be here to watch it because I just think it's absolutely ridiculous that people got to get to this point to do all this because they just want some justice. You know what I'm saying? They say injustice anywhere is injustice everywhere. However they say it. I've never said I was a reciter. Or injustice anywhere is injustice everywhere. Y'all know what I mean. So, last thing before I get up out of here, because my dog's looking at me like, okay, lady, it's time to walk us. And you gave us a little food because they be eating and stuff, so we need to walk them and all that. So anyway, so I saw this video and I thought it was just so funny. So just take a look at this. And I'm not gonna, I don't know. I don't know. We're gonna just vibe. I don't know if I'm gonna play the whole thing. Let me see. Okay, here it is.
16, I dropped out and popped off. 17, I seen cream. Probably where my pops off. 19, I seen green. Rap nigga bold flexing.
If you are not paying attention to your video or the screen, please look at the screen because this is not for the music. This is for the video. This is a visual. Please look at the screen.
7 years later, I'm the rawest nigga out of Texas. Fuck what a nigga thought. They won't smoke this, make a wish. Hard to make it out the sit. Bitch stank me and quick. Henny still in hand and that Nina still gon' rise too. Let me show how gangsters and them players on my side. You bitch mind you. Feel like Putin, it ain't none to get that ass with. Tap into my line, man. People belt the ass quick. I don't trust a dirty bitch. Dirty south, I'm what you miss. Toss it up, I'll bounce it up. Go treat me.
Yeah, you're not missing it, and I'm actually vibing to it.
Be like a fucking bitch, be like Putin, it ain't none to get that ass with. Tap into my line, man, people belt the ass. I won't trust a dirty bitch, dirty south, I'm what you miss. Toss it up, I'll bounce it up, go treat me like a fucking bitch. Hello, bitch, a new high. Check my watches, low time. Let my nuts hang, motherfucker cosign, motherfucker fuck friends, switched up in your ass out. Nigga signing whole deals, confused all with fake clout. All that bitch shit only cries, 24 got the same. All that bapping over line, kill me, nigga, that's for the game. Knocking hoes like dominoes, call me out my pot of gold. Re-up for my re-up, these fuck niggas tipping on they toes. What you rappers up at night, little bitch, you know it's me. I'ma make a million, really watch, rinse, then repeat. I'ma build a big ass village while this ghost still on my teeth. What the fuck you thought I was? I'm the coldest nigga to breathe. I can sell a pig to Farrakhan, sell a bomb to marathons. Fuck a hoe, don't love that hoe. Bloodline what I carry on. This shit hit me different, niggas dropping what I can't feel. I can't fake no image, bitches murder on my brain still.
What's up, guys? Today we got Los Kemet today on Corey and Cal podcast.
Hey man, we just want to know, why do you have 4 million streams on Bar to 7, but you don't got 10,000 followers on Instagram?
Respectfully.
Send them off like they adopted kids. Drinking how I was, starting to think I'm sweating cotton. Still don't fuck with none of y'all. Egos got these niggas popping. I'll rap a nigga, slap a nigga, and still be a prophet. Man, these thugs got it pissed off. Wood grain and leather soft. Stoving on nights, I died twice. Now my ego raw.
So we know he'll take the belt out at any given moment. Okay, now this is just completely disrespectful. Now this has got this. Now this is my fault. Now I don't mind everything else in the video, but now this is too.
Pray to see me win last. Barely trust my brother, but I love him. Got the blues bad. Crossroads. Can't remember when I ran with soft souls. Glued to it. They allude to it till it's all gone. I finally learned that living life the biggest habit. And this is just a glimpse of when a human chase the dragon. Nigga.
I like it. I think that it's I think that that's a cute, adorable, one of those things that when the people see it, they
I beg your pardon. I beg your pardon.
So I hope he keep his comments on, cause you know them, cause I could just see some people all in the comments. Like,
What did I do?
Just go to the office.
What did I do?
Go, just go.
What did I?
You know what you did. You know what you did. So just go ahead on and just deal with it, player. Just go ahead on and deal with it. It is what it is. Well, so I do want to go ahead on and wrap it up because it's been a minute. And so I hope that I was able to help you, you know, finish doing whatever you were doing. I don't know, washing dishes, mopping, sitting on the toilet, playing the game while you're listening in the background. I don't know. Well, you know, I don't know what you people be doing when you're in there by yourself. I really don't want to know. But anyway, so yeah, I'm trying to finish this movie called Peter Pan and the Neverland Nightmares or something like that. I think I'm gonna try to. Okay, so I'm gonna try to finish it today, and if I can finish it today, that will be absolutely fabulous, because then I can do like a recap, or not necessarily a recap, but a review of it, and then I could post that, and then I can also do one of my letters that I have, and then I could post that, and then that'll be 2 videos that I can have for tomorrow, and then once I do my 6:30, then I'll have 3 videos, and then yes, it'll help with the algorithm. I'm hoping. I don't know. Listen, it's just a ride that I'm willing to ride on, and you know, I have the time and I have the energy, and I feel like I have the things that people will want to talk about. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not gonna be talking about a lot of political stuff or one just particular thing. I am going to attempt to keep it very broad, speaking about of various things, because I feel like overall we want to find out and talk and hear about different things, and not necessarily just um, BS. You know what I mean? Like, I enjoy celebrity gossip, but I don't want to hear about that all the time. I want to hear about politics, but I don't want to be drowned in it. I like to hear about the weather, but I don't want to see it 24/7. You get what I'm saying? I want to hear about stocks, but I don't want to just be just indulged in it to the point where it's just disgusting. So I want to keep it simple, keep it interesting. I want to talk about, like, when I get new stuff. Like, I just bought. Well, I just got this new. I bought it, but I just got this new 3D printer. So I've been tinkering with that. So I'm gonna be up tonight for about 2 hours just playing with that, because I have this thing that I'm working on that I want to do, and I want to try to get it done soon. And I do plan on introducing it on my page, which is another reason why I wanted to start this. So when and if I like what I am able to produce, I can show you guys. And if you like it, then you guys, you know, I'll be willing to make copies and send out for a few people for free. And then after that, then you're gonna have to pay for it. But you know, we'll just see how it go. I might just do like giveaways or gifts. I probably wouldn't even sell it, because it's nothing like that I think other people will want. It's just something that I want, and if a couple people like it, then I'll be willing to, share that, and you can have it. And if you're not too far, you can probably just pay for the shipping. It depends on how far you is. If you ain't too far, then I cover the shipping. But if you like I don't know, in Turkey or Afghanistan, then you're gonna have to pay for the shipping costs. But I don't think that I saw anything else. Oh, I do want to say that in terms of what's going on, people want to say that they don't necessarily believe in socialism, but I think that if people really looked at how socialism is, and how the system is, and how the government, just look at it like the government provides health care or education for the public with the goal that it benefits everybody. That's the whole goal of socialism. It's not like this idea that I think people push out, that the government is just in your business and they're just taking complete control over what you have going on. Because, isn't that kind of like what's going on? Wouldn't that be kind of like socialism in a sense, even though people don't want to say it is? But it would still feel, kind of, anyway, I don't want to go down that road. Plus, it's just get on this whole tirade thing. And I just think that we need to get away from this race war and just get to this wealth war that we have, and how it's getting wider and wider, and people are so busy focusing in on other things that they're not actually paying attention to the fact that we're at a point where, okay, so these people voted for this person, and these people voted for that person. So now that these people who voted for that person are reaping the seeds, right, in a negative way, losing forms and losing all these things. And don't get me wrong, hey, this is what you voted for. I am an FAFO type person. You fucked around. Now you finding out. But the grand scheme of it is they're losing. Got it. They're losing. Got it. Okay. You could cheer that. If you could cheer that. You have the right to. However, if you look at the bigger picture, they're going to be losing those farms to the top 1%. And that's just, that gap is going to get further. And even though I know people are just laughing and cheering, overall, it's screwing us all. And I know that 92% of us, we realize that y'all are looking at it in this way. It's still going to affect all of us 100%. And I also see, and just not to hold y'all too much longer, but I also saw that someone was saying, well, they're tearing it down. It's going to get better. We just got to deal with it now. And I think that's but will you see it in your lifetime, right? Because, yeah, they're going to tear it all down, so everyone's going to suffer. And that's what's going on. But when it comes back, that's when we're going to see that racism that we know is there really be alive, because it's going to go in how they hire and all this other stuff. So a lot of people are saying, well, just deal with it, because we have to gut everything to rebuild it back. And that rebuilding is what caused civil rights to happen and all that. And I just don't understand how we are just going back like that. It's just crazy. Like, we are literally just going back in time, and we are watching it. I'm talking about real life, going back in time, and we might have to be a generation that has to go and you get what I'm saying? Like,
Shut up. All my niggas from the Hooters, all my niggas turn shooters. All my ops turn rats, all my niggas turn shooters. On the internet, you ain't been this way, you been stuck in a computer. All my niggas turn shooters.
The people in my high school had grown up with since kindergarten, basically. After met Owen in 6th grade, he was just like like a high school couple in a movie.
We were like best friends.
But the more friends you have, the easier it is to be betrayed by them. Something that you ship up.
A high school girl in Michigan was cyberbullied for more than a year.
And who turned out to be the suspect shocked everyone.
It was so bad to the point where I didn't want to even go to school.
It was relentless. 1 in the morning, 3 in the morning. I would question how I thought about myself.
There's some sick messages. They were enough to make a 53-year-old man blush. It's crazy how having a phone can become the worst thing that happened to me.
Things are about to get so much worse.
Sorry. Each and every day I feel like I was trusting everyone.
You had to be careful of every single word that you said or else you could look guilty. Really, it just all started to look like me.
She could be sending them to herself.
Everything was great, and things started happening.
Parents want to confront people and start pointing fingers.
When they involve the FBI, you can just see how fast this escalates.
They made quite a scene in school.
I wanted to try to
Destroyed an enemy cruiser.